I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as his hands, those same hands that once traced promises on my skin, pressed the pillow down harder. His whisper of venomous hiss. This is for us, Alina. For the life we deserve. The last thing I saw was the glint of our wedding ring on his finger, mocking me from the nightstand, before darkness swallowed everything. And then, like a glitch in the universe's cruel code, I gasped awake in my old Brooklyn apartment, the year 2020 staring back at me from my phone screen, my heart pounding not from suffocation, but from the impossible truth. I was alive again. 5 years before he'd murder me for the fortune he thought I'd stolen from him. It hit me like a freight train in that stale morning light filtering through the blinds, every betrayal replaying in hyperdrive. Mark, my husband-to-be in this timeline, the golden boy of Wall Street with his Ivy League smile and predatory eyes, had spent those lost years gaslighting me into believing I was the problem, the unhinged wife unraveling at the seams. But I knew now, he'd embezzled millions from his firm, framed me as the fall guy to cover his tracks, and when the feds closed in, he'd silenced me forever. Or so he thought. This time, I wouldn't be the victim. This time, I'd dismantle him brick by corporate brick, starting with the lies he'd buried deeper than my grave. The hook of it all? I could taste freedom already, sharp as the coffee I brewed that morning, black and bitter like the revenge simmering in my veins. But as I stared at my reflection, 28 again, unscarred, unbroken, a whisper of doubt crept in. What if unraveling him meant becoming the monster he always accused me of being? Screw that. I'd burn it all down before I'd let him touch me again. The alarm buzzed like a hornet trapped in my skull, yanking me from that half-dream haze where death's echo still lingered. I bolted upright, sheets tangled around my legs, sweat slicking my skin despite the December chill seeping through the window. Brooklyn, 2020, pre-pandemic haze. When the world still felt conquerable. My hands flew to my throat, fingers probing for bruises that weren't there, for the phantom crush of fabric and finality. Nothing. Just smooth skin and a pulse hammering wild. Alina? You okay in there? Sarah's voice floated from the kitchen, muffled by the sizzle of eggs on the stove. My roommate. My anchor in this pre-betrayal life. Oblivious to the apocalypse I'd just clawed back from. I swallowed hard, tasting nothing but the ghost of blood, and forced a laugh that sounded more like a choke.
Yeah, just.
Weird dream. I swung my legs over the bed, bare feet hitting the cold hardwood. The apartment was a time capsule, my law school textbooks stacked on the nightstand, a half-empty bottle of Malbec from last night's pity party after bombing that interview at Hargrove and Associates. God. Hargrove, the firm where I'd meet Mark 6 months from now, where he'd charm me with tales of climbing the ladder from nothing, only to push me off it years later. I padded to the mirror, gripping the sink until my knuckles whitened. There I was, dark hair tousled, green eyes wide with the kind of shock that could curdle milk.
28.
Fierce. Unbroken. The Alina he'd convinced was worthless. The one whose emails he'd forged to make her look like a corporate saboteur. But I remembered it all now, the late nights he'd spent not working but wiring funds to offshore accounts. The lovers he'd paraded as clients, while I slaved over case files to prove my loyalty. And the end, our anniversary dinner at that overpriced spot in the village, where he'd slipped something into my wine, driven me home, and finished the job with a pillow because loose ends get you life in prison.
Babe. No.
Not this time. By the time I shuffled into the kitchen, Sarah was plating breakfast, her blonde bob swinging as she eyed me over her mug. You look like you saw a ghost. Bad date hangover from that Tinder disaster. Worse, I muttered, sliding onto a stool. The eggs smelled like salvation. Normalcy. Ever feel like you've lived this day before?
Like
Groundhog Day, but with higher stakes. She snorted, passing me the salt. All the time. Try being a barista in Bushwick. Every hipster wants a oat milk cordido with a side of existential dread. Sarah was my polar opposite. Bubbly. Unscarred by ambition's knife edge. She'd stuck by me in the original timeline. Even after Mark isolated me, whispering poisons about her jealousy. I'd ghosted her for him, and she'd forgiven me every time I crawled back. Not anymore. We ate in comfortable silence, the kind that spoke of late-night confessions and shared rent checks. But my mind raced ahead, plotting. Mark's firm, Hargrove and Associates, was the Viper's Nest. I'd aced that interview in my past life, nailed it with my corporate law chops from Fordham, but I'd turned it down for a better offer at a nonprofit, only for him to steer me there as a puppet. This round, I'd take the job, embed myself, and start digging before he even knew my name. Got that call back today, I said casually, spearing a forkful of eggs. Hargrove. Think I can play hard to get? Sarah's eyes lit up. Hell yes. You're a shark in LBDs. Alina. Just don't let those suits chew you up. If only she knew. By noon, I was striding into the Hargrove lobby, all glass and steel in Midtown, the doorman's not a gateway to hell's antechamber. The interview was a cakewalk, my resume sang, my answers sharp as scalpels. We're impressed. Bonus. Rossi, the partner droned, a silver fox named Harlan with a handshake like wet fish. Start Monday? Make it tomorrow, I countered, flashing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Controversial? Hell. In this cutthroat world, demanding a Sunday start screamed desperation or genius. They blinked, then nodded.
Score 1 for the reborn.
Monday blurred into a whirlwind of onboarding. Cubicle in the merger's wing. Access badges that felt like keys to Pandora's box. I kept my head down, charming the admins, memorizing floor plans. Mark was here somewhere, senior associate, the rising star with the corner office on 12. But I wouldn't seek him out. Let him come to me, like fate's twisted script demanded. It happened on Wednesday, in the break room over lukewarm coffee. He sauntered in, all 6'2" of tailored Armani and easy charisma, that dimple flashing as he poured his pour-over. New blood.
Huh?
I'm Mark Hale. Welcome to the grind. Our eyes met, and for a split second, I swear he froze, like Deja Vu's ugly cousin.
But no.
Impossible. He extended a hand.
Warm. Steady.
The hand that would kill me. I took it. Grip firm. Pulse steady. Alina Rossi. Thrilled to be here. We bantered, light. Flirty. The way it always started. Wall Street war stories. My fiery Italian roots. Thanks. Nana. His self-made bullshit from a Jersey suburb. By Friday, he was asking me to drinks at the Dead Rabbit, that Irish dive in the financial district where deals were sealed and souls bartered. I said yes. Why rush the spider into the web? As I sipped my Jameson that night, watching him lean in with that predatory gleam, I catalogued the tells, the way his laugh didn't crinkle his eyes. The micropause before he mentioned family money, that wasn't there. In the original timeline, those drinks led to dates, to a whirlwind courtship, to vows exchanged under Central Park arches, to 5 years of him siphoning my trust fund, Grandpa Rossi's steel mill legacy, into his Ponzi playground, all while climbing Hargrove's ladder on my fabricated misdeeds.
Tonight,
I played along, laughing at his jokes, brushing his arm just so. But inside, I was stealing for war. Tell me, Mark, I purred, swirling my glass. What's the dirtiest secret this place hides? He chuckled, low and dark. Darlin', if I told you, I'd have to kill you. The irony burned like whiskey.
oh,
You will try, I thought. But not before I got you. Weeks bled into months, a meticulously choreographed dance. I excelled, closed deals, outmaneuvered rivals, earned Harlan's grudging respect. Mark pursued, relentless, flowers at my desk, weekend getaways to the Hamptons. I let him in, inch by inch, mirroring the original script, but with footnotes of sabotage. I'd accidentally forward his emails to compliance, nothing damning yet, just enough to plant seeds of scrutiny. Whisper to interns about his creative accounting, small cuts, bleeding him slow. By spring 2021, we were official, Alina and Mark, the power couple of Hargrove's holiday mixer. Sarah grilled me over wine-soaked brunches. He's intense.
babe.
Like, serial killer intense. You sure? Positive, I'd lie. Clinking glasses. Intense was underselling it. Mark was a black hole, sucking in trust, ambition.
Light.
But I fed him willingly, biding time. The secret gnawed at me, the one he'd buried under layers of charm, his father's old firm.
Holiday investments.
Collapsed in '08 from insider trading. Mark had clawed his way to Hargrove on forged creds, but the embezzlement? That started with me. Or rather, my money. Grandpa's fortune.
Liquidated post-wedding.
Funneled into Mark's side venture, a crypto scam that ballooned to 8 figures before crashing, leaving me holding the IRS bag. I discovered it too late in the first life, after he'd isolated me from family, from Sarah. This time, I looped them in subtly, weekly calls to Nana in Jersey. Just checking in, girls' nights where I'd vent hypotheticals about gold-digging fiancés. Building my army. The proposal came on a yacht off Long Island, summer sun gilding the sound, champagne fizzing like false promises. He dropped to one knee, ringbox velvet as sin, a 3-carat solitaire that screamed blood money. Alina Rossi, you've changed everything. Marry me. The crowd, his Hargrove cronies, my friends he'd vetted, held breaths. I paused, heart a war drum. In the script, I'd sobbed yes.
Now,
I smiled, slow and serpentine. Yes.
Mark.
Let's build an empire. He slipped the ring on, oblivious to the tremor in my fingers, not joy, but the first fracture in my facade. That night, alone in the master bath of his Tribeca loft, our love nest, I flushed the birth control I'd never skipped, staring at my reflection. Controversial decision number 1. I'd marry him, bed him, bear his child if it served the endgame. Because nothing would unseat him faster than a wife who knew too much, playing the devoted fool. But as his arms wrapped around me from behind, lips on my neck, I whispered into the mirror, "Your empire's built on sand, baby. And I'm the tide." The wedding was a spectacle. St. Patrick's Cathedral, Paparazzi flashes like strobe-lit knives. 500 guests toasting our fairy tale. Nana pinched my cheek, muttering in Italian about eyes like a fox. Sarah, maid of honor in emerald silk, squeezed my hand at the altar. If he hurts you, I bury him in Prospect Park. I nearly broke then, the weight of unlived grief crashing. But Mark's vows, oath-slick lies about forever, steeled me. Honeymoon in Tuscany, villas and vineyards. His touches turning possessive. I catalogued more, late-night calls to investors in Dubai, ledgers hidden in his phone's encrypted app. Back in New York, I settled into wifedom's cage, penthouse on the Upper East Side, charity galas where I charmed donors while he networked thieves. First anniversary, a gala at the Met, me in crimson Versace, him in tux that hid the devil. That's when the cracks spiderwebbed. Harlan pulled me aside, Scotch breath hot. Mark's numbers are
Off.
You're his wife. Any insight? I feigned concern, eyes wide. Off how? Lies upon lies. He'd started siphoning firm funds, using my access codes, stolen in sleep. I fed Harlan crumbs, he's stressed. Mentioned a legacy project. Enough to audit. Not enough to alert. Mark came home raging that night, slamming doors. They're sniffing around. You say anything? Me? I gasped, hand to chest, Oscar-worthy. I'd never. But as he paced, I slipped into the study, snapping photos of his laptop screen, transfers to Cayman shells, 8 mil and climbing. Evidence. My Excalibur. The pregnancy test glowed positive 2 months later. Fall leaves carpeting Central Park. Controversial? Abso-fucking-lutely. I timed it. Ovulated on command. Because a baby bound him tighter. Gave me leverage. We're having a son, the OB announced. Ultrasound wand cold on my belly. Mark wept, real tears, vowing protection. I smiled, stomach twisting. This child. Innocent shrapnel in our war. But doubt festered. Nights when he'd hold me, murmuring dreams of Hampton summers with our boy, I wondered, was there a sliver of him untainted? The Mark who'd sketched blueprints for a family home on napkins. Pre-lies?
No.
I'd seen the pillow descend. Mercy was for the living. By 2023, the noose tightened. IRS audits loomed. Hargrove's probe deepened. Mark grew feral, paranoid rants. My friends ghosted on his orders. Sarah persisted, smuggling me coffee and escape plans. I hoarded docs in a cloud vault, pseudonym-protected, emails, wires, even a recorded confession I'd baited from him drunk. It's all for us. Alina, your inheritance was the spark. The climax brewed that winter, 2024. Mark's big break, a board presentation to seal his promotion to partner. The moment he'd feel untouchable. I'd play the supportive wife, cheering from the wings. But in my purse, divorce papers, ironclad, drafted by a shark from across town, prenup voided on fraud grounds, assets frozen.
Custody to me.
As snow blanketed Manhattan, I stood in our closet, zipping my sheath dress, the folder heavy as fate. Today's your day, I told his reflection in the mirror, where he adjusted his tie, beaming. Go get him, tiger. He kissed me, lingering. Love you,
Babe.
for better or worse. Worse, I echoed silently. The boardroom awaited his throne. My guillotine. The elevator to the 42nd floor hummed like a tuning fork against my spine, each ding a countdown to detonation. Mark's hand rested on my lower back, possessive. As we stepped into the Hargrove boardroom, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the glittering sprawl of Midtown, Christmas lights twinkling like distant gunfire. Suits milled, Harlan nursing a tumbler, junior execs buzzing with sycophantic energy. This was Mark's Coliseum, the pitch that would crown him partner, launder his sins under a veneer of genius. I slipped into a seat near the back, the leather creaking under me like a confession. My belly, for months swollen, strained against the silk of my dress, a calculated prop, the devoted expectant wife. Conversations swirled, stock tips, nanny recommendations, the latest Epstein whispers buried under NDAs. I nodded,
Smiled.
hand cradling the bump where our son kicked like he sensed the storm. Mark took the podium, projector humming to life. Gentlemen and Alina. My better half, he began, that salesman drawl wrapping the room like smoke. Slides flickered. Projections for a revolutionary merger with a fintech startup. Numbers ballooned on creative fumes. I knew the truth. Half those figures propped by his embezzled slush fund. The other half, vaporware. He'd rehearsed it in our living room, pacing with slides I'd proofread, planting my fingerprints unwittingly. As he wove his web, charisma cranked to 11. The room leaned in, hooked. Harlan's nod was the clincher. Whispers of partner material rippled. Mark's eyes found mine, triumphant, the dimple deepening. Untouchable.
God.
He was radiant in his delusion, the apex predator scenting victory. My phone vibrated in my lap. Sarah, you got this. Call if you need an Uber to freedom. I thumbed a heart emoji. Stealing. The folder burned against my thigh. Crisp vellum screaming finality. 5 years of lies. The affairs 3, by my count, interns and a rival spouse. The gaslighting. You're paranoid. Alina therapy.
Now.
The slow bleed of my inheritance into his abyss. Grandpa's steel empire, built on Pittsburgh grit, reduced to chum for Wall Street sharks. He rapped with a flourish. This isn't just a deal. It's our legacy. Applause thundered. Backslaps and scotch poured. Mark descended the podium, Harlan clapping his shoulder. Son, you're in. Effective January. The room exhaled celebration. Cigars lit. Toasts raised. Mark pulled me up, kissing my temple. We did it.
Babe.
For you. For him. His hand splayed over my belly, and, for a heartbeat, revulsion warred with something treacherous. Pity?
No.
He was the architect of my grave. As the crowd thinned, execs drifting to sidebars, I excused myself to the ladies' lounge, marble vanity, scent of lilies masking the rot. Miralina stared back, pale but resolute, the folder now in hand. This was it, the controversial pivot. Not a scene, not hysterics, just cold, legal excision. Divorce on his coronation day, served with a smile. Tabloids would feast. Hargrove heir's honeymoon ends in boardroom betrayal. Mark's empire? Crumbling under scandal's weight. Audits accelerating. Feds circling. Back in the fray. I wove through cigar, haze, intercepting him at Harlan's elbow. A word, I murmured. Voice honey over arsenic. His brow quirked, pride still flushing his cheeks, but he followed to an alcove, windows fogging with breath. What's up? You okay? I slid the folder from my clutch, extending it like a venomous bloom. Sign this. He flipped it open, eyes scanning the header. Petition for dissolution of marriage. The color drained from his face. Victory's glow snuffed. Alina. What the fuck? Divorce papers, I said evenly. The boardrooms murmur a distant roar. Irreconcilable differences.
Fraud.
Embezzlement. Take your pick. His laugh was a bark. Disbelieving. This a joke? Today of all days. But his gaze darted. Guilt's tell. The micro-flinch I'd memorized.
No joke. Mark.
I've known for months. The Cayman wires. The forged emails pinning it on me. Your father's ghosts you buried in my name. My voice stayed level. A lawyer's scalpel. But inside, catharsis roared. The pillow's crush reversing into my exhale. He snatched my wrist. Grip bruising. Echo of the end I'd evaded. You're unhinged. Pregnant and cracking. I'll get you help. Try it. I yanked free, nodding to the shadows where Harlan lingered, pretending not to eavesdrop.
Shout.
And the whole floor hears about your legacy project. 8 mil gone. My trust fund the bait. Auditors are already in your office. Courtesy of an anonymous tip. His eyes bulged. The untouchable facade fracturing. You bitch. This is our life. I corrected, rubbing my wrist. The red marks blooming like war paint.
Custodis mine.
Assets frozen pending investigation.
Oh.
And the prenup?
Void.
Fraudulent inducement. Your little fibs about self-made don't hold in court. He staggered back, hand raking his hair. The boardroom's cheers mocking from afar. Why now? The baby. Our son stays with me. You'll be too busy in a cell to change diapers. The lie tasted sweet. I'd fight for supervised visits. But leverage first. Pleading cracked his voice. Alina.
Please.
I did it for us. The world chews up dreamers. I had to play dirty. For us. I laughed. Sharp as glass. You suffocated me for it. Literally. In another life. The slip hung. My rebirth's ghost peeking through. He blinked. Confused good. Security buzzed then. Harlan's baritone cutting. Mark, we need to talk.
Now.
The audit team, badges flashing, herded him toward the conference room. His gaze pleaded one last time. Don't do this. But I turned, heels clicking exodus. Down in the lobby, snow swirled against the glass. A whiteout baptism. Sarah waited curbside, engine idling in her beat-up Civic. I slid in, belly folding awkward. The folder now ash in my mind. You queen, she hooped, peeling into traffic. How'd it feel? Like exhaling after drowning. Tears pricked. Hot and unbidden. Freedom's price, the sun I'd carry alone. The empire of ash. But twists. As Mark taught me, hide in the bends. My phone lit, unknown. You think you won? Check your email. Heart stuttering. I opened it. Attachments, scans of my confessions, emails I'd never sent. Timestamps doctored, framing me as the mastermind. And a video, me, in our bed, laughing as I signed off on transfers. Deep fake? Or worse, real. From nights I'd blacked out on a spiked wine, the drive to my old Brooklyn walk-up blurred. Sarah's chatter, white noise. Nana's voicemail waited. Alina. Tesoro.
Come home.
Something's wrong with the money. Feds called. Betrayals echo. He'd buried not just his sins,
But mine.
fabricated to detonate post-divorce. The controversial truth? I'd walked into his trap again. Rebirth be damned. Or had I? My cloud vault hummed. Counter-evidence cued. But as contractions twinged, early labor's warning, I gripped the dash. Round 2 wasn't over. The hospital lights glared sterile as I labored through the night. Sarah's hand vice in mine. Mark's text bombarded. We can fix this. For the baby. Deleted. One by one. Our son arrived at dawn. 2025. Tiny. Furious. With Mark's dimple and my green eyes. I named him Luca. After Nana's father. The steel man who'd built unyieldingly. Discharge brought no peace. Paparazzi swarmed the stoop. Headlines screaming, Hargrove scandal. Pregnant wife dumps cheating exec day of promotion. Mark's spin. I was the villain. Unstable. Stealing his child. Hargrove suspended him. Feds raided the penthouse. Hauling servers and safes. I hunkered in Brooklyn. Luca nursing at my breast. Sarah fortressing the door. Lawyers circled. Mine a bulldog from legal aid. His a shark pool funded by phantom allies. The deepfake video leaked online. Viral venom. Wife's crypto con exposed. Comments lacerated. Gold digger. Psycho mom. Controversial decision too. I went public. Oppressor outside the courthouse. 3 weeks postpartum. Belly still soft. Eyes shadowed. Mark Hale didn't just steal my money, I told the mics. Voice steady. He stole my life, gaslit me, isolated me, planned to frame me for his crimes. This isn't divorce. It's survival. The twist dropped then. Courtesy of an insider tip, Mark's legacy project wasn't solo. Harlan, the silver fox, was the puppet master, Hargrove's dirty secret, laundering cartel cash through mergers. Mark, the patsy, seduced into the scheme with promises of partnership, then expendable. My anonymous tip? It boomeranged. Feds flipping Mark for immunity. His confession aired in depositions. She knew nothing. Alina was clean. Harlan set it up. Used her trust as bait. Vindication washed cold. But the real gut punch, in his plea, Mark claimed the pillow never happened. I'd never hurt her. That night, she OD'd on her meds. Panic attack. I called 911, but she was gone.
Lies.
Gaslighting from the grave I'd escaped.
No.
I remembered the pressure. The hiss. But doubt seated, had rebirth warped memory? Or was he the glitch? Luca's coup pulled me back. Tiny fist waving. Sarah prevetea. Nana arriving with sepal and steel-eyed resolve. We fight.
Kara.
Rossi blood doesn't bend. The trial loomed. Summer heat wave choking the city. I prepped in coffee shops.
Luca inasling.
Poring over transcripts. Mark's defense. I was the aggressor. Faking docs for custody leverage. His evidence? That deep fake. Time-stamped prairie birth. Controversial 3. I hired a hacker, gray market kid from Bushwick. Paid in cash.
Crack it, I said.
Days later, metadata exposed. The video? Rendered post-proposal. Harlan's IP trace. Boardroom showdown redux. Federal courthouse. July swelter. Mark in orange jumpsuit. Shackles clinking. Eyes hollow. Our gazes locked as I took the stand, me in linen shift. Luca with Nana in the gallery. Tell us, Mrs. Hale, the prosecutor prompted, about the night you died. Objection overruled. I leaned in, mic hot. I didn't die, counselor. But in the life he planned, I would have. Pillow over face. Because I was the loose end. Gasps rippled. Mark's head snapped up. Confusion cracking.
What?
I smiled.
Cold.
You whispered it.
Mark.
For us. But this time, I whispered back. The courtroom blurred, testimony unspooling. Wires. Forgeries. The spiked wine bottles lab-tested for benzos. Harlan flipped first, singing like Sinatra for a deal. Mark's empire?
Dust.
Verdict. Guilty. 20 to life. As marshals hauled him, he lunged.
Chains rattling.
Alina. It wasn't. Save it. I cut. Turning to Luca's cry. But his eyes held something fractured, not rage.
But fear.
The baby. Protect him from. The gavel fell. Silence. Outside. Flashes popped. But I walked free, Nana's arm linked. Sarah snapping selfies. Happy ending? Close enough. Luca would grow knowing his father's shadow, but bathed in light. Yet the twist lingered. A burr in my rebirth. Months later, sifting Mark's seized files, I found it, a letter, undated, to our unborn son. If you're reading this, I failed. But know I loved her, enough to burn for her. The pillow? A nightmare I woke from, screaming her name. Harlan's men did the rest. Forgive me. Forgery? Confession? The line blurred. I burned it, ashes scattering in the East River wind. Some secrets stay buried. Me? I lived fierce, flawed, unchained. Luca's first birthday dawned sticky. August humidity turning the Brooklyn rooftop into a sauna. Streamers wilted on the railing. Nana's homemade cannoli sweating in the cooler. Sarah manned the grill, flipping veggie burgers for the ragtag crew. Law school pals I'd rekindled. A couple neighbors with kids Luca could toddle after. And a lone wolf from Hargrove's cleanup crew, Elena, the compliance whiz who testified against Harlan. To Alina, Sarah toasted, plastic cup raised, who turned betrayal into badassery. Laughter rippled, Lucas smearing frosting on his high-chair tray. Green eyes, mine, sparkling innocent. I clinked, gin fizz sharp on my tongue. To second chances. The words hung heavier than intended, rebirth's undercurrent pulling like tide. A year post-trial. The scars itched, custody battles won but bitter. Tabloid echoes, Black Widow or victim. The IRS clawing back Grandpa's remnants. But freedom? That was the real intoxicant. Mornings without Mark's shadow. Nights scripting briefs for a boutique firm specializing in white-collar whistleblowers. Elena sidled up, plate balanced. Heard Mark's appealing. Claims new evidence, some diary painting you as the instigator. I snorted, bouncing Luca on my hip. Let him. His evidence is as solid as his crypto. But unease prickled. The letter's ashes haunted. Had I glimpsed truth in his plea?
No.
I'd felt the pillow, tasted the end. The party wound down with sunset, guests trickling out in Ubers. Nana lingered, wiping Luca's face with a napkin embroidered from her linen closet. You look tired.
Tesoro.
That man's still in your dreams. Only as a villain, I lied, kissing her papery cheek. She hummed skeptical, Jersey wisdom in her squint, then shuffled downstairs with Sarah's arm. Alone with Luca's babble, I scrolled news on my phone, habit, hunting ghosts. Hargrove headlines had faded to footnotes, firm rebranded. Harlan in Supermax. Mark's appeal grinding through appeals court. A sidebar pinged. Wall Street widow pens memoir? My agent. Unsolicited. Forwarding bids. Controversial for. Spill the rebirth?
No.
Cloak it in thriller tropes. 5 years buried. A survivor's reckoning. But as Luca dozed in my arms, phone slipped. A notification flared. Private message. Encrypted app. Alina, it's me. Not dead yet. Meat, coffee, neutral ground.
M.
Heart slamming. I deleted it. Coincidence fan. Hack. Or hallucination. Sleep came fitful. Dreams splicing timelines. Pillow descending. Then lifting to Mark's scream. Shadows, Harlan's men, dragging him away. Morning brought clarity, or denial. I bundled Luca to daycare. Nanas for backup. Then subway to Midtown. The appeals hearing was public. I'd attend. Face the beast. Courthouse steps crawled with reporters. But I slipped in veiled, taking a back pew. Mark entered shackled, gaunt in county grays. The dimple hollowed. His lawyer droned motions, newly discovered diary entries. Your Honor, detailing MS. Rossi's coercion. Objection. My attorney barked from the bar. Fabrications. As proven in trial. The judge, a no-nonsense black woman with braids like armor, peered over specs. Produce it. Counsel. The bailiff passed a manila envelope. Pages flipped. Mark scrawl. Lurid. Alina's pushing me, says if I don't cook the books, she'll leave.
The wine?
Her idea. To loosen tongues. I surged forward. Whisper shout. Lies. That's not. But Mark's eyes met mine. Not defiant.
But.
Imploring? Help. They begged. A flicker of the boy from Jersey who'd sketched homes on napkins. Recess hit like mercy. In the hall, his lawyer cornered me slick.
Pinstripe.
Settle. Mrs.
Halle.
Drop the appeal opposition. He recants the diary. What's the angle? I demanded. Pulse thundering. He glanced back, Mark visible through glass. Head bowed. He says it's the only way to protect you. Harlan's people inside. The real murder plot? Not his. Chills spidered. The letters echo. Protect him from what? I stormed the holding pen. Plexiglass barrier humming with finality. Alina. His voice cracked. Hands splayed on the divider. You have to believe me. The pillow, I dreamed it. After you.
Past.
But it wasn't me. Harlan's crew. They came that night. Staged it. I woke to sirens. You gone. Covered it up to shield Luca from them. Bullshit. I hissed. But doubt cracked my voice. Rebirth's fog. Had I died by his hand? Or another's? Why frame me then? The forgeries? The deep fakes? Desperation. Tears tracked his gaunt cheeks. After you died, grief twisted me. I built the lies to cope, blame you. So it wasn't my fault. But the audits? Harlan forced my hand, used your death as leverage. Finish the job, or Luca's next.
Luca.
The name ignited fury. You threatened our son? No. He lunged.
Chains jangling.
I confess to buy time, immunity for you both. But the appeal? It's a signal. Feds have a mole. This pulls Harlan strings. The guard tapped time. I backed away, mind reeling. Controversial 5. Believe the monster? Or trust the rebirth scar? I fled to a diner. Burner coffee scalding.
Piecing it.
Calls flew. Sarah, insane. Don't engage. Anna, follow your gut. Kara. Elena, Harlan's network runs deep. Appeals are smokescreens. My hacker kid pinged. Checked the diary metadata. Real ink. But dated pre or death. Anomaly.
Pre-death.
Before the pillow. Had Mark foreseen? Or fabricated from foresight? Decision crystallized over refills. Infiltrate. Pose as reconciliation seeker. Wire myself for feds. Risky. Entrapment whiff. But revenge's evolution. Not destruction. But truth. Visitation approved. Neutral site. A park bench in Battery. Autumn leaves crunching under tourists. Mark arrived cuffed to a fed tail. Gaunt but groomed. The dimple a ghost. You came. Relief softened him. Talk. I slid a thermos. Spiked? No.
Just Joe.
Wire itched under my blouse. Feds in a van 2 blocks over. He leaned. Voice low. Harlan's outriders, cartel ties. They killed you to silence the books. I buried it. Built the frame too. Keep you villain. Me victim. Easier than admitting I failed you. Failed how? I pressed. Heart a drum. His eyes dropped. The affair, first one. Pre-wedding. Busted me stressed. But instead of walking, you covered. Said, we're in this. That's when I knew, soul deep. But Harlan sniffed weakness. Blackmailed. Play ball or lose everything. And the pillow night? Dream, he whispered. I held you too tight. Panic attack from the benzos you took for nerves. Woke to you limp, called 911. But they arrived first, Harlan's cleaners.
Stayed out. Took the body.
I lied to cops, suicide. Then the lies snowballed. Revulsion warred with pity. You let the world think I OD'd? Abandoned our life. To protect Luca from the shadows. He gripped the bench slats. The appeal?
Bait.
Feds need Harlan's panic to slip. The wire caught it all, confession unspooling. But as sirens wailed distant, his hand brushed mine, electric. The napkin sketch boy. Forgive? Not for me. For him. I pulled away.
Standing.
Luca's mine. You're the ghost now. Feds swarmed post-visitation. Harlan's mole exposed in the appeal filings, a junior Fed on parole. Raids hit 3 states. Cartel whispers turned screams. Mark, immunity expanded, house arrest, ankle monitor. Therapy mandated. I visited once more. Luca on my lap in the supervised parlor. Chubby fingers exploring the table. Mark's eyes welled real. This time.
He's perfect.
He is, I said.
No worms.
Controversial 6. Supervised visits granted. Not love, justice's compromise. As winter bit. Memoir bids crested. I signed with a progressive press. Buried alive. Reborn from betrayal. No supernatural, framed as metaphor. The death, his gaslighting's metaphor. Bestseller buzz.
TED Talk invites.
Sarah joked. From victim to vixen. But nights.
Luca's leap.
I traced the non-scar on my throat. Wondering, was rebirth magic? Or madness? Mark's letters arrived weekly, apologies. Sketches of homes unbuilt. I filed them, unread. The final twist brewed in spring. Cherry blossoms dusting the park where Luca chased pigeons. A envelope. Unmarked. Autopsy report. Leaked from Harlan's trial. Cause. Asphyxiation. Ligature marks inconsistent with pillow, fingers.
Gloved.
Harlan's men. Mark's dream?
Truth.
I burned it too. Ashes joining the letters. Some controversies resolve in gray.
Me?
I walked on. Luca's hand in mine. The tide receding. Luca's laughter echoed off the High Line's steel girders. A trill pure as the Hudson breeze cutting through summer haze. 2 years post-appeal. The scars had silvered. Mark's house arrest lifted to probation. Harlan's empire dismantled in a RICO sweep that snagged half Wall Street's underbelly. Partner at Voss and Klein. Whistleblower division. Trading silk blouses for power suits. Luca in elite daycare with Nana stories as after-school lore. The memoir dropped like a grenade, buried alive top Times lists. Controversy crackling. Fact or fiction. Pundits dissected my deathbed visions. Therapists op-ed on trauma's alchemy. Royalties funded a trust for Luca. Ironclad. Grandpa's echo. Mark kept distance. Probation terms barred contact sans court nod, but notes slipped through. Proud of you.
M.
I trashed them. But Sarah fished one, a blueprint, nursery sketched for a brownstone we'd never owned. Creepy or sweet? She asked. Wine glass tilted. Both, I admitted. The gray settling like dust. Rebirth's gift, nuance. Not black-white. That fall. A gala invite arrived, Voss Gala.
Anticorruption fadée.
Mark was speaking, from inmate to advocate. Controversial 7. Attend. Not for him, for the cause. I'd tell myself. The plaza ballroom glittered. Chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold.
Y arrived solo.
Black gown hugging curves motherhood softened. Luca with Sarah for the night. Whispers trailed. The widow. The phoenix. Mark spotted me mid-mingle. Scotch in hand, clean-shaven. Suit crisp. The dimple tentative. Alina. You came. Work, I said. Sipping champagne. Neutral ground. Wire-free. His talk was raw. Fall from grace. Harlan's web. The lies that chained him. I buried my wife, not with hands, but with silence. Her death was my cowardice's child. No pillow mention, our secret, or my delusion. Q&A turned pointed. Mr.
Hale.
Your ex-wife's book claims premonition. Fact. He paused. Eyes finding mine in the crowd. Alina's stronger than she'll admit. If she says she saw it coming. Believe her. Applause swelled. I slipped out. Hudson calling. But he followed to the terrace. City lights sprawling like a conquered map. Truth time, I said, railing cool under my palms. The pillow was a dream. Or did I imagine the rebirth to cope? He leaned beside. Not touching. I don't know your side.
But mine?
Nightmare fuel. Woke sweating. You blew. Harlan's ghost squad. Vanishing you. I built the frame to punish myself. Projected onto you. Therapy unpacked it. Guilt's funhouse. Guilt for what? The affairs? The theft.
All.
And not seeing your fire sooner. His voice cracked. Luca, can I? Probation allowed supervised. I nodded. A dam breaking. Parks only.
No sketches.
The visits started halting. Central Park benches. Luca wary then warming. Mark stories of Jersey mischief drawing giggles. Nana vetted. He looks broken.
But eyes don't lie.
Sarah grumbled. Stockholm much? But Luca's dimple deepened. A bridge. Controversial 8. Coffee. Just us. Post Park. A neutral cafe in Chelsea. Steam rising like peace flags. Why now? I asked. Stirring sugar I didn't take. Redemption selfish, he said. But Luca deserves a father not in shadows. And me. His hand hovered, then retreated. Whatever you allow. Months blurred, supervised to unsupervised. Coffee to dinners, Luca's centerpiece. Spaghetti stains and bedtime reads. The gray deepened, nights I'd wake gasping. Pillow phantom. But Mark's calls soothed. Breathe. Alina. You're here. The proposal redux came winter. Snow blanketing the brownstone he'd bought. His sketches realized. Probation pay dirt.
Luca zlip upstairs.
Fire crackling. He knelt with a ring, simple gold.
No karats.
Not empire.
Partnership.
If you'll have me. I stared. Rebirth's wheel spinning. Tragic end? No, life's messy loop. One condition, I said. Pulling him up. No more buried secrets. Sworn. His kiss was tentative. Then fierce, homecoming. Not conquest. Luca's wedding waddled down the aisle, tiny ring bearer, sealed it. 2027. Nana beamed. Sarah toasted to reboots. The vulture circled, headlines from grave to vows, but we ignored. Honeymooning low-key, Jersey Shore. Sandcastles and Nana's Zeppole. Twist's final turn a letter. Post-trial cash. Marks to me. Pre-arrest, if I fall. No, I burned for love, not yours stolen. But given. The death. My fear's forgery. Live fierce. Alina. For us. I framed it. Not ashes. Some controversies birth grace. Luca grew. Dimple duel. Stories of two lives woven sans supernatural. Mommy's strong heart. Mark consulted ethics boards. I litigated for the framed. Together? Not fairy tale, fractured mosaic, but whole. Rebirth's moral? Not revenge's blaze, but tension's forge. I died once. Unjust. Lived twice. Redeemed. Untouchable? We all were.
Till trutstida.
In the end, the pillow was illusion, but the scars?
Real.
And in them, we built.